Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that your mentor sessions went well. And we're here now with our SyncSack GitHub workshop. And this is presented by Lisa and myself, Bradley. Um, Slide, please.
So today we're going to be talking about version control. Git is the most common system used for version control. It allows you to track your changes and make sure all your versions are in one place, you don't lose anything. Um, yeah, it's like Google Docs, but for code. And GitHub is a web application and a desktop application as well for um, Git, and it also adds a bunch of useful collaboration tools to help you collaborate with other people on your projects. So why do we use version control? Um, Imagine if you're working on a project that has a bunch of files in it, and you're implementing a new thing, and then you decide that it's not really how you want it to go, or it doesn't work, and you have to go back to your previous kind of version of your code, and you would have to manually change everything back, and you may forget things and it's going to take a while. But with version control systems, you can just do it in a couple of clicks. um, Same goes for collaboration. Before version control systems like Git, people would use file systems or emailing files, which is a pain if you have to go through all the files, look through all the changes, and select the ones that you like, and things can get lost in the process. And Git does everything for you and GitHub. Um, you can make a free GitHub account if you follow this link if you haven't already. Um, yeah, you can just go back to these slides after the presentation. So let's start with a GitHub, what it looks like. So this is your home screen, and on the top bar you can see your pull requests, which is pull request is a way for you to ask someone to um, look at the changes you made to a project. For example, if you're contributing to an open source project, um, you you're probably not going to be allowed to make changes straight to the project repository, but instead you can save them in your repository and make a pull request to allow the owner to see that you want to contribute, if these changes are okay, and if your pull request is approved, then it will be added to the final project version. Next up is issues. Um, Issues can be posted by anyone, but in your issues, it's going to be the issues that you post. That could be anything. It could be issue with the code, could be issue with literally anything that you want to say about a project. It goes on the issues. On the right hand side, you can see a notification bell, which allows you to change what notifications you get, how often, and so on. The plus allows you to create a new project, a new repository, and your avatar um, allows you to view your settings for the account. So this is a basic screen of a repository. You can see the repository name on the very top. And the first tab is open. It's called code, right here. This allows you to view all the files in the current version of your project. The master branch is open by default, which is like the main branch. So in this case, this is our workshop repository. You are welcome to go see it. The link was on the previous slide. Um, right now, we just have a README file and a small TXT file. Um, Next is issues, the ones we discussed before. Yeah, they allow you to notify someone if there's a problem with the project, if there's has if anything has to be changed. Um, that's what issues are for. Pull requests. this is where all of the pull requests for this repository go. As you can see on this one, there is one pull request, added my current location. So I previously went and changed the txt file that was in repository, and I asked Brad to approve my request. He will write a go and view the changes and either approve it or don't approve it. Now let's go through the basic workflow of the developer. So firstly, if you're working on a open source project and you're not a collaborator, you can fork their code. And this means it creates a copy for you. Any changes made to the copy, the fork, doesn't affect the original one, but it's exact copy. So all the branches, all the files are going to be there. This allows you to add little things without affecting the initial repository, and then you can create pull requests later to maybe approve it or not. Um, then we create a branch. Once we forked the repository or created a new one, branches allow you to uh, parallelize your workflow. So, for example, if you have two issues that needs to be done or two features that need to be implemented, but you don't want to work like you want to work on them at the same time, you can create one branch, which is going to be a copy of your code, and then you add to that, and that stays in that branch, and on the other branch you can work on a different issue, and they're going to be completely independent of each other. Um, Once you are comfortable with the changes you made on your branch, you're ready to commit. Um, this adds all of your changes to your version control system, and they go to staging. Then if you're working on someone else's code, you can create a pull request, and if it's approved, then the changes are committed, and they go to the um, common repository, not just locally. It goes on final changes. Here we go. If you finished working on a branch, usually branches are for a single feature, for a single issue. When you think that is done, you can go ahead and merge the branch with the master branch, which adds all the changes that you made on a branch to the main project line. Now we can use GitHub to make a change. Um, Here we go. We have this workshop. You can go ahead and do it as we go through it. On the right-hand side, you can see the fork button. This allows you to create a copy. You can create a copy of this workshop in your own repository, or you can create a new repository for a brand new project. Then we go on the left-hand side, you can see master. This, by clicking on this button, it will show you all the branches you currently have active, and you can just type in a name of a branch. If this branch doesn't exist, it will give you an option to create one. So that's what we're doing here. I want to add my city to the text file, so I just create a new branch, add city, click create branch, and that would create a new branch for me. Then you open a file that you want to change. Notice how on the top left you can see that we're currently on add city branch. To open a file, you just click on the name and it will take you to this screen. So right now the file is empty. You can see it's 0 lines. And to edit it, you click on the edit pencil button on the right side. And this allows you to edit the file. As you can see, I added my current location, which is Sydney. And when I'm happy with it, I go down. There's going to be a commit changes screen where you can write the name of your changes. it is good to be descriptive with what you write, because that allows other people to easily understand what the changes are for, and helps them to make a better decision. Well, obviously this is a very simple change, but on more complex projects it's going to be more complex. We want to commit directly to add city branch, and once I am comfortable, I click the green commit changes button, and that commits it. Then we go back to our main screen, which is the code, and we are still on our add city branch. The Git will give you an option to compare and create a pull request for that branch. This will show you changes you've made compared to the master branch. I am done with this. I've added my city. This issue is coming to an end, so I want to create a pull request. You can click either of these buttons. This is a pull request screen. You can see that we are trying to merge add city to master. Make sure the branches are correct. And it tells you if you can merge or not. Sometimes the changes are so complex, GitHub doesn't can't merge automatically, so you're gonna have to go and change some things to make it easier. Um, down in the text space, I am writing comments about my changes, since this was a very simple change. Not much is required. Once I'm comfortable, we go down, we click the green create pull request, and that creates a pull request with the name. Then anyone working on this repository can comment, they can express their opinion, and whoever is the owner of the repository, they will be able to merge the branch, finalizing the changes you've made. So this is what it would look like. They would have to click the merge pull request, and that would finalize everything. Sometimes, as I mentioned before, changes are very extensive, so there's a conflict that can be resolved automatically by GitHub. In that case, you have to go to resolve conflicts and edit the files yourself, keeping the changes that you want and deleting changes that you don't want. This would look like this. There's a nice GIF that shows you how to do that. Git marks you the changes from different branches. New branch is the changes that you've made. Original branch are the changes that is the content that is been before you made changes. Cool. Now you can use Git with command line instead of a GitHub interface. This allows you to do a lot more things. Brett, do you want to take over?
Cool. Thank you, Lisa, for the GitHub side of things. I will now go on to the more, I guess, terminal side of things. If you're interested in committing and pushing to repositories through the terminal, first of all, you will need to see if you have Git installed on your computer. So I will share my screen. Sorry about that. And all you have to do is go git -- version, and this will tell you if you do have Git installed or not. So currently I do have Git installed because it tells me the version. And if you don't, I will go back to Lisa's screen. Lisa, can you go to the next slide, please?
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's right. Yeah, if you do not have Git installed, just please go to that link. I should also say the link to these slides are in the Facebook and YouTube comments. They were the first comments that were put on. So if you follow that, you should be able to get a copy of these slides. So if you do go to that link and then download the file, you have Git installed on your computer. For macOS, it is a little easier as well. You just have to install it, open it, and then follow the installation prompts and just follow all the default options. Next slide, please. For Windows, it's the same too. Just open, install, and follow the instructions. And yeah, make sure if you do not know what you're doing, please contact us by either comments or messaging our Facebook or YouTube pages, or messaging our Discord in our Syncs chat, and we'll be able to help you out. Once you're in your terminal, just remember to restart Bash or PowerShell if you're a Windows user, and run the git version command again, and then you should have your latest version of Git. Next slide, please. And then now for configuring Git. Next slide. Thanks. You basically will find as Lisa said, your user details on your GitHub page. So if you click on your user avatar, you would have your username. So in my case, it's that. Copy that and then return to your terminal, and then you basically have to copy this code. In this case, you would replace the email@email.com with your username. And then, sorry, that's for your username. And then your email, you would have whatever your email is, just replace the brackets. From my case, would be unikey@uc.edu.au. And my username would be Brad-Rigo. Cool. And then after that, you can double check that you've set up your terminal right. Your Git right. And basically, you just have to type in git config user.name, and then it'll come up with your name. That's my name. And then same thing for email. And I've omitted my email for obvious reasons. So basically, there are 3 stages in Git that, from when you start coding your application and you add it to Git, that's called the staging area. That's when you git add. Actually, go one step before though. Your working directory is where you write your code. So if I had a Hello World Java application, that's your working directory. That's where you save your work. That's where you add new lines of code to your work. After you do git add, it will go to your staging area. So basically, you only do that when you're happy. And after that, you commit it to your repository. So the staging and working area are basically on your local computer. Once you commit to your repository, it's out on GitHub or Atlassian's Bitbucket. Basically, that's just a way of, I guess, making sure that your code that you've got on your computer is correct before pushing it out there, so you're not pushing out too much or creating any merge conflicts. Now it's time for the practical. So I will describe basically how you can go from step 1, which is create a repo, all the way up to committing your repository and pushing it to your workspace and to your repositories. So basically, I will share my screen. Apologies for that infiniteness. So to create a repository, I can go to my account. So my internet's a bit slow. So basically, this is your homepage. You can see anything you want to see. All you have to do is click the plus button, click new repository. I'll give it a name, just SyncsHack. You can give a description, it's optional. I'll make this public so everyone in the world can see this. If they look up my username and look at my repositories, you're able to see this SyncsHack repository. If you want to be private, so say if you're doing an assignment for university or high school, TAFE, whatever you're in, you want to make this private so no one else can see it, so you don't get accused of plagiarism. And you can add different items along with creating your repository. So you can add a README file. So this is basically like a long description for your project. You can write in instructions you may have for running your project in here. You can add a git ignore file. So a git ignore file is a file that lists all the files that you don't want to be committed when you go git add all. I'll explain that later. But yeah, that just allows you not to commit any files that you don't want to. And if you're creating something on GitHub so you're creating a project and you want to be licensed, like an open source license. There's a large number of licenses that you can choose from. So if you want to go down that avenue, you could choose any of those licenses. Just make sure to read what those licenses state and what you have to do. So I won't put a license on this one. So yeah, after all this, if you want to add a description, you could. I'll add a fake description. You create your repository, and then welcome to your new repository. Basically, this is your homepage for your repository. So in my case, SyncSack, this is where all the code for SyncSack will go when I commit it to this repository. So now I would like to claim my repo. So that's the second step. So all you have to do is go to code and copy this link. And then you would need to go to a folder that you want to save it at. So if I'm just going to save it on my desktop. And then I'll make a folder called SyncSack. Oops, I'll make it one word. And then I go git clone, and then the link. So you paste that link in, and then it'll clone the repository into my local computer. So if I go to list, oh, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I've got a lot of things on my desktop. If I were to go into SyncSack and then list, this is my repository. So the next step is to check out a new branch. So to check out a new branch, you go git check at -b, and then the name of the branch. Let's just go add name. So this allows me to add code and commit code to a different branch, so it won't affect anything in the master branch. So this is good for if you have a team assignment, or in this case, your hackathon. If you and your friend were working on two different functions, you could branch off into X and Y function and commit all your code, add your code, make it all correct, and then merge it into your master branch. That way, you won't have any conflicts, just in case you delete someone in your master code, which may be a bit of a hassle. So after that, you can open your favorite text editor. In this case, I'm just going to choose Atom because it's the top of my mind, and create a file. So I'll create a file first. Let's go test.txt. So I'm not very good at opening my name. So after that, you'll open my Atom. And basically now this, if I can, no, don't worry. So basically this is my test.txt. I can add any lines I want. So this, welcome to SyncSack 2020. And then once I save that, and I go back to my terminal, just say I made all the changes I wanted to make for that file, I can check that it's been saved properly by going git status. And then it tells me that I've created a file called test.txt. And if I wanted to add that to my repository and commit it, and push it to the repository, all I would have to do is go git add test text. And then if I go back to git status, it tells me that test.txt is being added and is being ready for committing to your repository. So all you have to do after this, if you have no other files that you want to commit, is go git commit, and then you can add a message. So in my case, I can go, this is the first commit. Technically, these messages are supposed to be what you've changed or what you've done to this file. So they'd be more useful for developers that are looking back on it, or yourself in the future when you're looking back to see what you've done when you've committed this to your repository. So make sure it's a useful message. So I can just say I added a welcome message. And then, oops, exclamation marks won't work. So yeah, so now that's committed to the staging area to be pushed onto your repository. So all I would have to do now is go git push, and then this code is basically saying, since this branch has been created for the first time, it has no branch to push to yet. So all you have to do is copy and paste this code and then hit enter or return. And then all of a sudden you have the code that you've created is pushed to your master branch, sorry, into your add name branch. Excuse me. And then all you have to do is go back to your GitHub. Then if you go to, or if you look here, basically you have an add name branch, as it says. So this is branch, as you can see, has got test.txt. And if I go into it, welcome to SyncSack 2020. So if I were to go back to the master branch, as you can see, there is no test.txt. So as you can see, this is a good way to, I guess, put your code in that you've created in the box until you're ready to push back to your master branch. So say if I was ready to push back to my master branch, all I would have to do is go compare and pull request. And then come up with a little title and comment saying what you've done. And then you can add reviewers just in case you need to have your pull request reviewed by a admin. And then all you do is hit create pull request. So I can just go test for now. I create my pull request. And usually if I was on another repository, I'll get someone else to merge it for me. But all you have to do is hit merge and click confirm merge if you're certain that this can be merged, and hit merge. And all of a sudden your master code is being merged with your branch's code. So now I have test.txt in my master branch. So yeah, that has been one whole steps to go from creating a repository to pushing to your repository in a matter of half an hour, maybe. So I think that is the end of our slides that we've had. Excuse me, I've been talking for a while. So basically after that, we have a little recap. So Lisa, could I get you to move to the recap slides? Okay, so basically, as I said before, as Lisa and I have said before, Git is a version control system allowing teams to collaborate on projects, assignments, whatever you like. You can even be complete strangers completing a project together. GitHub adds features to Git and provides a web interface. You could also put license Bitbucket in there if you want to replace GitHub. And the command line allows you to propose changes without the web interface. There is also a program called GitHub Desktop if you'd like to have a UI-friendly version, but I would recommend that you get used to the terminal and pushing from the terminal, because that I find is way easier. Slide, please. Cool, and that brings us to the end of our workshop. So if you have any questions, please do post in the Ask Syncs page. Otherwise, that brings us to the end of our workshop for Git. And our SyncSack website development workshop starts at 5 p.m. So if you're interested, please do come along and enjoy the fun. Best of luck in your hacking. I hope it goes well. And thank you, Lisa, for helping me out.
No worries. Good luck, everyone. We're excited to see what you make.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.